Do you think Kamala won? And does that mean she may now win the election?
I think more accurately, it's that Donald Trump lost. And this is not the worst debate performance I've seen in my career, but it's very close to it. The conversations about people eating dogs and cats, calling the leader of Hungary one of the greatest world leaders, repeatedly missing the opportunity to focus on inflation and affordability, and the complete inability to present his point of view without completely tearing into Joe Biden, into whomever was in his sights. It was a pretty negative performance, pretty pessimistic, cynical, contemptuous, and I think that this will cost him. Yes, I'm trying to decide if I want to go on record, and the answer is yes. I think that he loses because of this debate performance.
Wow. This is Michael Popok, Legal AF. 67 million people saw Donald Trump blow up his campaign and lose the election on that debate stage. So says Frank Luntz, longtime Republican pollster. He almost never gets it wrong. You just heard him there on Piers Morgan saying what we all saw, that not only did Kamala Harris win, but Donald Trump lost to the American people, trying to appeal to that 5% of the electorate that hadn't made up their mind yet. The election is over, according to Frank Luntz. Now, look what's happened in the polling. Since the Kamala Harris kicked Donald Trump's butt up and down that debate stage, she now has a durable, starting to harden 5% national lead over Donald Trump post-debate. Post-Taylor Swift effect, her 5 to 10 million voters and new registered voters voting for Kamala Harris. 47 to 42% of the national polling in the latest Reuters Ipsos poll. That's up a 1 point, but puts her at a 5-point margin. I'm going to tell you what the importance of the 5-point margin is in a moment. In the Consult survey, also 50 to 45, a 5-point margin. She's up 3 points since the debate in that. And then you have the telltale statistic off the debate that 53% of the American people in a compilation of surveys believe that Harris won, and only 24% believe that Donald Trump won. Think about that. That means that MAGA knew that Donald Trump lost that debate. The average poll shows that people think that Kamala Harris won that debate by a 23-point margin. Why does it matter? Usually there's 3 debates. For those that don't follow presidential debates well, there's usually 3 debates. Usually the first one matters the most, the middle one slightly, and the third one, because it's so close in time to the election, matters also. We've watched candidates lose all 3 debates, or there be a 2-1 or a tie, if you will, after 3 debates. But since we're only going to have 1 debate, because Donald Trump, knowing that debate format, where it shows that he's addled, that he's not well, that he's debating against a professional, showcasing Kamala Harris as the commander-in-chief and future president of the United States that she's going to be, is not helpful to him. Frank Luntz saw it as well. You heard the quotes. I mean, just to be clear, this is not a Democratic pollster. This is a Republican conservative pollster. What he had to say about it is the people that came in after hearing Donald Trump, when he was asked by Piers Morgan, do you think Kamala won? And does that mean she may now win the election? Luntz replied, I think more accurately is that Donald Trump lost. And this is not the worst debate performance I've seen in my career, but it's very close to it. The conversations about people eating dogs and cats, calling the leader of Hungary one of the greatest world leaders, repeatedly missing the opportunity to focus on inflation and affordability, and the complete inability to present his point of view without completely tearing into her, into Joe Biden, into whomever was in their sights. He said he was also critical on what he did, Donald Trump did, in the spin room and on Truth Social and the tirades. Basically, Frank Luntz said, and I quote, I've never seen a candidate more determined to blow an election. He said that the former president's debate performance was cynical. He was pretty negative, Luntz said. It was a negative, pessimistic, cynical, and contemptuous for the American people performance. And I think that will cost him, yes. I'm trying to decide if I want to go on record. And the answer is yes. I think that he loses because of this debate performance, to which you heard Morgan reply, wow. There is a reason I said earlier in the hot take, 5 points matters. If you listen to every political strategist on both sides of the aisle, they say the magic number for national polling, before we get to individual electorate, battleground state electoral vote counting, is 4 to 5 points.
Have you heard about NAD+? It's a molecule in every cell of your body, and it's critical to aging well. NAD+ helps keep us feeling youthful by promoting cellular energy, maintaining healthy DNA, and using nutrients efficiently and supporting detoxification. Did you know NAD+ levels plummet by age, and by age 50, most people's NAD+ levels are only half of what they were when you were in your 20s. So falling NAD+ levels is a major reason why signs of aging starts to accelerate. Luckily, science has discovered a way to boost your NAD+ levels up to 50% greater. It's called Qualia NAD+, a groundbreaking supplement from Qualia. Many doctors and health experts over age 30 use Qualia NAD+ themselves, and I'm proud to have them sponsor this podcast because their pioneering research and life-changing nutritional formulas are transforming how well people can age, something I am fighting myself, of course. So NAD+ is a large molecule that struggles to be bioavailable if you supplement it directly. That's why Qualia NAD+ supports NAD+ the right way, by including ingredients called NAD+ precursors that your body can convert into NAD+ to boost your body's own NAD+ production up to 50%. So it's vegan, non-GMO, gluten-free, the ingredients. There's things like niacin, niacinamide, and niagen, also known as NR. These are the three of the most well-researched NAD+ precursors, and all three are in Qualia NAD+ to maximize your body's NAD+ production. It's clinically tested, and it's formulated by a doctor. Look, I clearly want to feel and look decades younger than my actual age. I am in my late 50s. I'm a grandmother, and that's why I'm staying at the cutting edge of aging research and boosting my NAD+ levels with Qualia NAD+. It's taking a huge part of how well I age, and I'm appreciative of it that they are sponsoring this podcast, and I am proud to absolutely have them be our sponsor. So go boost your NAD+ levels up to 50% and go to qualialife.com/law for up to 50% off, and use code LAW at checkout for an additional 15% off. That's QUALIA life.com/law for an extra 15% off your purchase.
When a candidate gets to 4 to 5 points in the national poll, it usually means they're going to do well state by state in the electoral poll in the 7 battleground states that matter. Now, when she was first nominated, and after a good round of first couple of weeks in the honeymoon period, she was up about 1 point, Kamala Harris, maybe a point and a half, maybe 2 points at best. And then we went into the debate. And now we see that jump over the last couple of weeks and off the debate and off of Taylor Swift to a durable 4 and 5 point lead in the national poll. That is a great thing. And that is what Frank Luntz is also commenting on in his Piers Morgan interview, that we've got 67 million people who watched that debate. I mean, forget the 81 million people line that Kamala used so effectively to cut Donald Trump. 81 million people fired you. 67 million people saw this unwell, unkempt, cynical, tyrannical person who was contemptuous of the American people. And I'm so pleased that we finally got over that hump now, as we move out of September into October with a 4 and 5 point national polling bump, that now Donald Trump is going to have to try to close that gap over the next 40 or 50 days. Almost impossible. There's only about 5% of the electorate on average that hasn't yet made up their mind. And that's it. But that's important. It's important. That's why these polling numbers are 47, 42, and it doesn't add up to 100. There's still this group of undecideds that we're battling for the heart and soul of America. But this is big news. Frank Luntz saying that Donald Trump's debate performance, which will not be repeated because he's not going to argue, he's not going to have another debate. It's over. It's in the can. Put a fork in him. Is the single most dispositive event in the last 2 months for Frank Luntz. He's lost the election, according to this pollster. Done. And there's no recovery from it. We've got to continue to work hard for the campaign, of course. So you got a 5-point national lead. Yes, for those that don't follow this closely, we vote in this country and this electorate state by state and electoral vote by electoral vote to get to 270. But there is usually a proxy for somebody who's going to do well in the battleground states, and that is the national polling average when it tips over and gets to 4 to 5 points. And now Kamala Harris has it, and she's not going to let it go. Not at the rate the Republicans now are overreacting and overcompensating and trying to substitute social media attacks and social media memes and pet eating and cat memes and bringing in, crazed right-wing, alt-right-wing podcasters and social media figures to be the chief strategist for Donald Trump going forward. He's gassed. When you have a poor campaign, a debate performance like that on the campaign trail, you go out the next day and you go to rallies and you go to towns and you go meet with local newspapers and you go give local interviews on radio and television. Where's Donald Trump? He hasn't done that. He is quietly quitting his campaign. That's why Frank Luntz said he's just exploded. I've never saw somebody that's so intent. He's not shooting himself in the foot. He's shooting himself in the head. Kamala Harris is out giving interviews and local interviews and TV interviews and going to multiple cities within the state and promising to come back to Pennsylvania time and time and time again. And the other battleground states, even the way that Hillary Clinton didn't do. You come off a bad debate performance, you have to go out there. That's what Joe Biden was the reason. One of the reasons he had to resign, he had to not go for re-election, is because there was no energy after his poor debate performance. There was no recognition that he had to go out and talk to the American people, or that he could. Kamala Harris, on the other hand, interview after interview after interview, rally after rally after rally. While Donald Trump does what? Phone into Newsmax, phone into Fox News, press conferences. He thinks he's going to win this fight for the soul of America by mean tweets on Truth Social, a failing social media platform that has about less than 4 million active users or followers, and then hope that corporate media follows those tweets and amplifies them and gives them more coverage. Forget it. Kamala Harris is going to win this election the old-fashioned way. She's making her closing argument now to the American people, as only a former prosecutor can do, and she's closing the deal with the American people. She answered the question on the debate stage about who she is and what she will be and the policies that she will present. Now she continues to flesh that out. You campaign in prose. You have to govern, right? You campaign in poetry. You have to govern in prose. She's in her poetic mode right now and doing exceedingly well. We'll continue to follow it all on the MeidasTouch Network and on Legal AF. Join me on Wednesdays and Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for Legal AF. We sit at the intersection of law and politics, so you don't have to. And we do it in a way that I think you'll find out. Speaking of numbers, 40 million people a month already know this answer, that Legal AF is the home of law and politics commentary and analysis like no other. And then you can pick us up on all audio podcast platforms as well, right here, Legal AF. So until my next hot take, until my next Legal AF, this is Michael Popok reporting. Heary, heary, Legal AF Law Breakdown is now in session. Go beyond the headlines and get a deep dive into the important legal concepts you need to know, and we discuss every day on Legal AF. Exclusive content you won't find anywhere else, all for the price of a couple of cups of coffee. Join us at patreon.com/legalaf. That's patreon.com/legalaf.